Have you ever thought about the ingredients that are going into your food? Okay. Have you ever thought about the ingredients that are going into your thoughts? This is so fascinating. But if you read the nutrition facts, you can find out everything that's going into your foods. And obviously, you understand that the calories you're intaking are going to be represented in the energy that you have for life itself. It is the exact same thing with your thought life. The problem is, people don't put the nutrition facts on the ideas that they're giving you. You don't get the nutritional value of the thoughts that you're intaking on a continuous basis. What are you watching online? What are you watching on TV or on your streaming services? What are you listening to? All of that has a nutritional value. And the intake of that thought or that content is going to be represented in the energy that you have in life. Now, look at this. You've seen this before. Honey Nut Cheerios. Think about this. It's gluten free. That's the first ingredient is whole grain oats. And Cheerios, they can help you lower cholesterol as a part of a healthy diet. Now, that's really awesome. If you went to a nutritionist, I'm very certain that their first suggestion to you would not be to consume Cheerios like crazy. If you look at The Rock, Dwayne Johnson's diet, he probably is not consuming a plentiful amount of Cheerios. Because if you go to the nutrition facts and you read the ingredients, you start to see that there's other things inside of this that you may not want. There's all of these little things, there's some added flavor, and they want to do this to preserve freshness. Now, that may not be quality. So, you can start to identify what are the ingredients of the food that I'm eating. And also you'll start to see this if you are big into coffee. I really enjoy coffee. What you start to see is the coffee, they show where it was sourced from. They start to show you it's not only what the ingredients are, but it's also the process of bringing those ingredients to the surface. And this is where we get organic. Here's my challenge for you today. What are the ingredients of your thought life? Where are your thoughts coming from? And what is the source of those thoughts? I had a coaching call today and I was sharing with a group. I said, so many times you have to separate yourself from the wrong people because the ideas that they have, you have no idea where their mindset is coming from, where their belief system, they have a certain perspective of life that is based on either their upbringing, their own personal beliefs in themselves, their beliefs in you. And so what you want to do is you want to separate from people where you don't know the ingredients of the thoughts that they're giving you. Most people, they are ingesting ingredients that are not good for them. And here's the biggest problem when you think about mindset. If you think about mindset as your appetite for thoughts, people develop specific appetites. And so the goal that you have for your life will determine the types of thoughts that you want. And this is very polarizing. Most people have goals for their health, and yet their diet is not represented in what they actually want. Why? Because they've developed an appetite for the wrong types of foods. They want sugary, flavorful foods that actually aren't good for their health and the outcome of what they want. But they developed an appetite. So now they crave this type of food, even though it's not conducive to their goal. It's the same thing with the quantity. They've developed an appetite for more food than their body needs. This is the same with our thought life. People don't understand oftentimes that the thoughts that they are ingesting are not conducive to their goals. They're thinking about what they don't want. They're thinking about what they don't like. They're thinking about all of these things that are not taking them in the direction that they need to be going. And this comes back to our conscious and our subconscious mind. The more that we feed on a certain type of thought, the more our subconscious mind is programmed for that or develops an appetite for that. So now the subconscious mind is continuing that thought pattern on autopilot. Here's what I wanted to talk about today It's time to do a detox in your mind. And I want to encourage you to adopt something that I've built into the daily planner. Now, you can go to mindsetmastery.life. You can get the daily planner. Whether or not you use it, I want you to think about using something that I have built into that planner, and that is sprints. I want you to go on a 30-day or a 31-day or whatever is the number of days for this month or the upcoming month. I want you to go on a detox where you detox from the negative thoughts. And I want you to treat it as the nutritional value, where you're going to start looking at this thing and you're going to start making and taking inventory of the thoughts that you're taking in. And I want you to ask yourself, what is the source of these thoughts? Where are these thoughts coming from? Is this thought or is this idea going to serve me in going towards my goal? So you know that your thoughts are taking you in the direction of where you want to go based on how you are feeling on a regular basis. Hey, I hope you are enjoying the video. I wanted to take a quick intermission. If you are, hit the like button, hit the bell notification, hit subscribe, leave a comment. I want to hear your thoughts. Here's the deal. You may not see eye to eye with me on everything. But in this next section, I really want you to start thinking about the sources of information that you are getting your thoughts from, and then what the ingredients might be in those thoughts coming from those sources. Whether it's entertainment and information, all of that, start to really consider the motive and the ingredients. All right, let's dive back into the video. I hope you enjoy one of my favorite verses. It's in Philippians 4. This is the Apostle Paul, and he's writing. And this dude, he had some pretty remarkable wherewithal. And this is what he wrote. This is a letter that he was writing. And he says, finally, brethren, he's talking to people that he loves. So this is a letter. Again, you think about the source of where something's coming from. He loves these people. And he's writing, finally, my brethren, whatever things are true. So if you started to look at the ingredients of your thought life, you've got this like main thing that you're looking at is how many calories are in this. And we know that the calories are going to be based on the amount of energy that you can burn from this food. And then you've got fat, saturated fat, trans fats, all this like cholesterol, sodium. And so I want you to start thinking about what Paul's saying here as like your nutritional value of your thought life. Whatever things are true, okay? How much truth is in this statement? And we'll get into that in a second. Whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. What is he saying? He's giving a context for the type of nutrients that you want to be getting from the ideas that are going on in your mind. And so if you just take these last ones, if there's whatever things are of a good report. So you may have things going on around you that aren't awesome. They're not the way that you would want it to go. But you don't think on those things. You think the way you get out of those situations is not meditating on those things. You don't meditate on the problem to fix the problem. You meditate, you can problem solve the problem by meditating on the outcome that you want to have. That is where you shift this whole thing. What is the outcome that you want to have? A good report. That's you create an imagination for the positive outcome. These are the ingredients that you want in your ideas. True thoughts, noble thoughts, just thoughts, things that are pure, not impure thoughts. Do you start to see how this conditions a person's thought life? They start to be very careful of the ideas that they're consuming, that they're meditating on. You think about meditating actually means chewing on. It's fascinating how much, if it's a physical world principle, it manifests as a principle in the soul realm and the spirit realm. Okay. And I truly believe that the soul is the bridge between spirit and physical. Thoughts coming in, you want to meditate on these good thoughts. What does that mean? Meditate and chew on the nutrients of a good thought. What is a good thought? It's a thought that is taking you in the direction of where you want to go, right? Now, this first part of whatsoever things are true, this is a stumbling block for a lot of people. A lot of people don't want to own up to truth, right? So there's a lot of people who believe that this is the Bible. This is truth. That's what I believe. So I believe that as you follow the life of Christ, of Jesus Christ, and you do the things that he tells us to do, to walk out the lifestyle that he calls us to walk out, it actually produces happiness and fruitfulness and joy in our lives and the lives of those who we are coming in contact with. But there's a lot of people who don't like to associate this with truth, and therefore there's no grounds for truth in their life. I'm not going to get into it in this video. That may offend a lot of people, but whatsoever things are true. So that's a really important thing. You want to start taking inventory of your thought life. Is this true? In 2 Peter, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. So Peter writes in 2 Peter 1, verse 2 through 4, grace and peace be multiplied to you in the knowledge of God and of Jesus our Lord, as his divine power has been given to us. So that's essentially saying anyone who receives Jesus Christ, and there's a whole teaching, I will do another teaching on this, as his divine power. They're talking about Jesus Christ, the divine power that he walked in. We have access to this now, as his divine power has given to us all things pertaining to life and godliness. His divine power, but get this, okay? Through the knowledge of him who called us by glory and virtue, by which have been given to us exceedingly great and precious promises, that through these you may be partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world through lust. That I'm going to get into in a different way, into a different video. But he says, by which have been given to us exceedingly great and precious promises. Those promises are the foundation for our imagination. So that's the whole point of what I'm saying, is whatsoever things are true. Well, if you come to the Bible, if you come and you read it and you actually study it for yourself, you don't just take what everyone else is saying about it. You read it. You'll read in John 10:10. Jesus himself said this, that the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But he says, but I have come that you may have life and you may have it in abundance. Life in abundance, right? So right here, Peter was saying this divine power is given to us all things pertaining to life and godliness. All things. So you see this pattern of these ideas. Where are these ideas coming from? Well, if there's ideas coming at you about lack and limitations and sickness and disease and all these things, you want to take inventory of your thoughts and check yourself, and you want to base your imagination based on promises that are for life and life in abundance in every category. You know, I was raised in the church my whole life, and a big part of why I'm so passionate about the mind is I feel like so many people, they leave up to God something that God has left up to us, and that is our willpower. That is our ability and responsibility to choose what we will think about and how we will think. And based on the thoughts that we think about and how we think and what we get emotionally connected to, that produces the outcomes of our life. That right there. He said in the Old Testament, I set before you life and death. Choose life. What was he saying? Your will is your responsibility. What you do with your life, what you do with your thought life, that will manifest into the life that you live. It's so important to take control of your thought life and the ingredients in which you're taking in, because those thoughts develop an appetite for that thinking, and that thinking will produce a feeling or a conditioned way of believing. The direct result of that believing is your behavior, how you behave, and ultimately your behaviors produce your results. And so most people want to change their behavior before they change their beliefs, and it doesn't work. And so it requires you to take inventory. This is why I'm challenging you. Do a detox on your thought life. You're going to say, how do I do that? Well, first of all, take an inventory of what you're ingesting. Every single, if it doesn't matter what industry you go to, I've seen it in all of these different books from different strategies. If you read, I forget, I think it's Marie Kondo, or she is, hold on. Yeah, if you read Marie Kondo, she talks about, decluttering your life, right? And tidying up, the magical power of tidying up your life. What's her first step? You got to have a goal, right? And then when you have established what you actually want, the next step is elimination. You eliminate the things that you don't want and that don't have value to you. The first part of this is taking an inventory of your thought life. First, before you do that, you want to identify, what do I want my life to look like? Because if you want to have a life where your health isn't good, or your marriage isn't good, or your relationships, or whatever it is, then you can think about whatever you want. You can just turn on the news or turn on most programming, and you will be fine to just ingest whatever you want, because most of that is conditioned from that. That's the source. The source of those things is coming from a reality that those people have. So if you want the reality that most people have, you consume the ideas that most people have. The first step is you identify, what do I want? Okay, now I've got to eliminate certain inputs that I'm getting. Now, it could be from family and friends. It could be from the things that you're getting on the internet or on streaming services, all of that. But another way that you can do this is literally write them out. And a lot of people, they talk about how they're feeling. How do I, man, you'll hear people say, I just feel like I am, and then they fill in the blank. So you can do this. You could say, I feel like I am, and then you just fill in the blank. And a lot of these are your default thought patterns. How do you think about you? How do you think about your job? How do you think about your boss? How do you think about all of these things? And that's how you can identify the way that you are thinking habitually. You can also look at your results. What are your results in all these different areas? Okay. Paint a picture of, reverse engineer what your results are based on how you feel about them. I feel like I am, and then boom, 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 boom. You'll start to identify certain thought patterns that you need to eliminate. I know this was a lot, but you want to start taking inventory of the nutritional value of your thought life. That is so imperative to you living a energetic and positive life in abundance, a whole life. The Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he, right? So as a man thinketh, not in his conscious mind, but in his subconscious mind. The appetite that you have, that is what you've been conditioned to. And so we got to change those. We got to change the appetite. So I want to challenge you, do a detox on your thought life. And I promise you, in 30 days, you can come back to me and say, wow, for 30 days, I intentionally detoxed negative thinking. These negative thoughts, and you can write them down. Come back, send me a message on kevin@mindsetmastery.life, or go to my website, schedule a discovery call with me about, some other things about setting and achieving goals. But email me and say, I detoxed from these thoughts, and this was the outcome. I promise you, it's life-changing. It takes diligence. It takes, again, you don't want to, not everybody wants to go and check the ingredients that they're consuming. But the people who do, and they start to really select what ingredients they're intaking and from where those ingredients come, those people, they're healthier. They have more energy. They have more, there's a glow about them. It's the same thing with the thought life. So detox the negative, and create a 30-day sprint where you start to consume thoughts that are good, that are positive, of a good report. Meditate on these things. That's what I want to challenge you. Do a detox on anything that is opposite of that and start to consume good thoughts about yourself, about your life. Paint a picture of what you want. And I promise you, in the next 30 days, it's going to be a game changer. Change the nutritional value of the thoughts that you're ingesting, and your life will radically change.